is Mariana and I'm a digital artist. Today I'm gonna teach you all about how to improve your art following my process to a complete illustration. Little warning, this video gets a little bit more unhinged as I go, so be aware. I plan to make this a series in the future where I approach each part of the process individually, but for now, let's begin. First chapter, the concept. The first part of my journey is choosing a reference photo. I usually try to not reference other people's art, unless of course it's a very old piece, like a classic painting, for posing or composition because it can lead to directly copying someone instead of learning how they figure things out, which is usually frowned upon in the art community. Recently I did a piece inspired by this artwork, but even if it was my inspiration, I tried to diverge away from the design. And all the choices are different except for the fabric, which helps to tie things up. My idea for this piece was doing Percy Jackson holding the sky. He needed to be on top of a mountain and have a very severe expression on his face. I find that limiting yourself and trying to work around these limitations is best than having endless possibilities. I like to view art as a solution to a problem. If you don't have a clear idea of the problem, how do you want to solve it? After I have my concept figured out, I do a mood board and gather all my references. There is no need to compile them in such a pretty way. I just did that for the YouTube video. I personally just kind of see the photos individually. When everything's in place, I start doing thumbnails. I don't have much time nowadays since I'm doing fan art every day, so I can't spend precious time redoing sketches. Therefore, thumbnails are a great way to cut down the time I spend drawing. Most beginners probably think that organizing things first is boring and unnecessary, but that's not true, since from my point of view, you get better results in a quicker time. Second chapter, the sketches. Thumbnail ready? Time for polishing. First things to do in this stage is to sketch your character's body without a face or clothes. Now, my anatomy is just barely good enough to be passable, so that stage is very important to me. But I'm guessing some of you guys have me beaten in that department, so probably you can just go directly to the next stage, a cleanup sketch with the characters. Make sure you always flip the canvas though. I know what you're gonna say, I keep forgetting it. Well, you have to make sure that's a habit. Write it down somewhere in the canvas until you don't need to. Quick tip. Change our sketches to different colors so when you're doing the cleanup sketch on top, you can see it more clean. Third chapter, the rendering. Now, that's my favorite stage. It's a shame that this particular piece was a total mess, but every piece that I draw, I keep merging layers sooner and sooner. Now, I wouldn't recommend that because it's so anxiety-inducing and it's really a leap of faith, but that's what I did. In the future, if you guys want, I can carefully show how I render different parts of the character, so let me know what I should do first in the comments. I started laying down some grayscale so I could visualize the values. In my last video, I commented a bit on beginners not checking their values and how that appears in the rendering, so starting with black and white helps a ton. I wasn't satisfied with it though and changed the background. I messed around with color a bit. If you suck at choosing colors, I suggest you choose the real color of the object over the grayscale with blending modes. I used color for everything but the shirt. And see what you get. Then duplicate the base and merge it all. After that, the gradient maps should really help with corrections. Now, I want to make this clear that shortcuts are good for pieces that go for social media, but you should study choosing colors by yourself traditionally. It's not really good to study using shortcuts. I know what you're thinking. Gods, this looks ugly. But don't panic because I did and it didn't help at all. What you need to do at this stage is stop, breathe, touch some grass, have a shower, a tea, and come back. It will still look like shit, but at least you feel less burned out and can try to fix this mess. When things aren't working, I duplicate the ugly base layer and paint on the top with light and shadow. At this point in every piece, I'm dead inside and have to gaslight myself into believing that it is good. So I keep hiding the top layer to see how far I've come. I do this a lot in my time lapses, and everyone gets a little bit confused about the purpose. The purpose is to keep my sanity. And then I proceed to make the executive decision of not containing this piece into a 3D space because I wanted to put a golden thing in the sky. At this point, I haven't decided yet what the golden sun was going to be. In reality, the shadows didn't make any sense, and I was too far gone from my previous self to restrain this piece to the physical world. Then I decided I was going to do a collage of Pinterest images in a way that no one could prove that I did it, and charged me with theft. If you notice, at this stage, I forgot to render the shoes. Fun fact, almost all my Percy Jackson characters' shoes are either from Nike, which is named after a Greek goddess, or All Star, because multiple characters are associated with stars. Fourth chapter, the finishing touches. I personally call the stage dirtying up the piece. I do a mix of paper texture with a light wash of beige paint brushes, and a thing that I do and find very useful is that I duplicate all the layers, merge it all, and go with a textured brush and blend unimportant parts with it. My English was very good at this last part. In this particular piece, I also included a text, even if it's hardly noticeable or readable. I chose something that matches the theme. Now you can post your piece and wait for the comments. I also wanted to say in the end that I'm making a playlist that is already on my profile where you can see all videos that inspire me or that have great tutorials in it, because I find that hot artists don't gatekeep resources. Thanks for watching. Bye!